George Santos.
George Santos. George Santos.
George Santos.
George Santos is a piece of shit.
George Santos is a piece of shit.
It's a grab bag episode of Grab Bag about the lives of George Santos. A grab bag episode of Grab Bag with Alanah and Tim.
Okay, well, hello everybody, and welcome to I Don't Trust This Person, the mini lies of George Santos. The show is technically called I Don't Trust This Person because in season 2 we're going to be covering an entirely different new person. Just right now it's the lies of George Santos because he's lied a lot. So much so that we'd been trying to theme most of these episodes with various lies that go together, that crap with the dogs and what was the Miley Cyrus thing at the very beginning.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Trying to say that he was on
Hannah Montana.
He was on Hannah Montana and he produced Spider-Man and he.
Oh yeah, that one. There was other
do?
Disney stuff too,
what was that? Oh, it wasn't just the Spider. No, not the Disney thing.
I can't even remember. Can't even keep his lies straight like him.
Lies straight. He said he was in a movie with Uma Thurman. He said with Uma Thurman and somebody else when in fact the movie itself starred Nicole Kidman so we couldn't even get his own lies right. Well, we've got so many of them we had to put him in what is called a grab bag episode, and that's what this is. So to start off, we have a few corrections to make and things we might have left out. I think we might have addressed a few of them already, but the first one is that his district, you remember us saying that he said he was Jewish and claimed to have family in the Holocaust. Well, obviously a terrible thing to lie about, and I would say especially in a district that has a huge Jewish population. Not to mention that he's since also been banned from the RJC, which is the Republican Jewish Convention, committee or convention. They're just Republicans. He's not allowed anywhere near them at this point because of his lies.
And he said all of that stuff while running.
Running, yes. And then
so I feel like knowingly did it, knowing that his district was the Republican Jewish Coalition.
I'm sorry. The
he
Republican Jewish
did
Coalition.
That knowing that there was a significant Jewish population and that he would get.
He's a con man.
Yeah, and he would get a bump in the polls by doing that.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
That's why he did any of the things he did. He conned his way in, he conned the entire 3rd District of New York into giving him a seat in Congress with a paycheck and the right to make their laws and to influence their politics. And he did all of that while apparently never graduating college. Not saying you need to graduate college, but I feel like that's kind of almost should be a requirement for Congress right now, or maybe not. I don't know. That's a big moral debate, but still, he lied about going to multiple colleges. Baruch, and I think, did he say Harvard?
NYU. He lied
NYU.
About NYU.
Sorry, yeah, NYU.
I don't know.
Prestigious school, but
I feel like yes, you should. But okay, so I think yes, you should have to go to college in order to serve in Congress,
in federal Congress, maybe. I don't know, but that
might just be my
that's just bias that has been fed to us. Possibly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there are plenty of things that you don't need to go to college, but if you want to go. You should also maybe consider a trade school because trade schools they pay just as you're more guaranteed a job in a trade school, from what I understand. Which I wish I had gone to I did technically go to a trade school, but I'm an audio engineer, good trade, but he didn't go to anything though.
No, he didn't go anywhere to anything. Did he even finish high school? Who knows?
He didn't go to the high school he claimed to go to, that prep school. I don't know, it's some very pretentious sounding school. But he also doesn't own any properties and lives with his sister, at least as of the time of me writing these notes. So maybe he's gotten an apartment since then. But that, that was what was reported by one of these articles here. They're listed in the description of the episode. And also just one last wonder, who the hell is his husband? Because he apparently was married, and I have not seen any record of a marriage to him, and no name. I don't know if I'm looking in the wrong place, but or if no one's reported on it yet. If they have, let us know in the comments. But so that's our just corrections to anything we might have left out and stuff. So onto a few more lies. Now,
These are some fun ones in
yeah,
here.
these are fun. Now, have you and your sister ever argued over buying clothes, or maybe specifically, I guess, a roommate? Your roommates ever steal your clothes?
I have never had that experience as shown in movies and the such. No.
Yeah. Well, George, and you all have seen this scarf that I'm about to mention. Him at the Stop the Steal rally on January 6th. By the way, George Santos was at the Stop the Steal rally on January 6th. Maybe, I don't know, maybe question him about all of that, but that's another show and episode. Well, the scarf he's wearing is this, at the time, was $520 Burberry scarf that he stole from his roommate. And that was just a thing that's claiming, I think he may have claimed that it was his own, but his roommate was like, that, asshole stole my scarf and is wearing it on TV. That scarf is now, and again, link in the description, gone up to $590. So there you go, Burberry, for your free advertisement for your a scarf a print that has never, it's been consistent for forever, right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
just
it's
the
their
Burberry print.
it is their classic.
When I see it, I think, it's either
Print.
Burberry or someone's trying to rip off Burberry doing a weird flannel.
Also, just as a side note, what's interesting about this report is that his he lived with two roommates at the time, and they accused him of stealing other things as well.
Oh God, did they?
So
I was missed that.
yeah.
So God knows how much he stole from them. I mean, he definitely stole money from people that you're going to find out in the next episode during the Ponzi schemes. God, that's a long list of things. I was going through it before we started, and I was just like, oh boy, that's how and why did you steal all that money? Well,
So many things.
the next one is really messed up, and it's like, why lie about this? And at least Business Insider and everybody else who has reported on this has not been able to find anybody, but he claimed to have employees involved in the Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida back in, what was it, 2018, I think? 2016, my apologies. 49 people died in that horrific event, and he claimed to have staff members in that, and involved, that were at the shooting, and that's just not true. So why?
I don't understand the
Are
point
you
of that
trying to get a
lie.
sympathy vote from the
Yeah,
gay
it
community,
sounds
or
like
just Florida? And because you're not running in Florida, so but regardless, what are you trying to gain sympathy from? God, and not to mention just to lie about it too. So he is such a grosso.
that one,
That's really dumb and gross. All these others are just silly that we're gonna mention, but
the
kinda
theft
wanted
one is
to-
much more fun.
the theft one is gonna be. The theft one
No,
is
the
more
one
fun.
we just talked about with the scarf
Oh,
and the
yes,
roommates.
yeah. I
That
thought
article,
all the other thievings
which
that he did.
We'll link to this Business Insider article, but it is fascinating of his roommates who have come forward. His roommates back from 2014 and stuff when he lived in Queens. With them, fascinating, of him and how he was
stealing
so
everything.
charismatic and charming, and people would believe that he needed something, and that things went missing, and it just. I feel like that so perfectly sums up his personality. Yeah, but the Pulse shooting one, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, gross.
Why?
Well, then
Question
on
mark.
top of him being so charismatic and putting on these fronts that he would, he also apparently claimed to both work for Globo, it's the Brazilian CNN, right? That's basically, what would you call, or is that their PBS?
I would call it their BBC.
Okay, so yeah,
I don't know that
not state media is the wrong term, but it's
because
BBC
I
is
feel
kind
like
of that.
PBS here isn't as watched,
No,
right? Whereas
BBC is fully watched. and
BBC
Globo,
is the number one channel that, or at least before cable, before
Sure.
Netflix,
Sky
all of
One
that
and
stuff.
yeah.
BBC was the channel you watched, and it wasn't just news; it was programming, news, everything.
Yeah.
That's what Global is. It's news, it's programming, it's kids shows,
Oh,
it's
okay,
cartoons,
okay.
it's telenovelas, it's everything is just on this channel.
Right. Well, he wasn't a journalist there. Just
No.
if you were wondering, he was not.
I would not think so,
They
but
said,
claimed to be.
Yassir
of course.
Rebello with Globo said.
No, that was his roommate.
Oh, sorry. That was my bad.
That's
his
one of his
roommate
roommates.
Claimed said that he worked for Globo. Globo said it was a lie, pure and simple. It's just crazy to lie about something so Googleable. I guess we know. Yeah, you can if you're a reporter for Globo, you can look that up. Anybody can look that up about yourself. It's so baffling. And then especially the next one, which is I guess an easier lie to get away with sometimes. He claimed to be a male model. like for don't even know. For wait. This is so dumb. His roommate, who also outed him about not working for Globo. Well, yeah, he and Globo outed him for not working for Globo. He's from LGBTQ Nation. He said, quote, he told me he was a model and that he worked at New York Fashion Week and that he met all of the Victoria's Secret models and would be in Vogue magazine. He was home all day on his computer, just browsing the internet.
The web, oh my God.
And then he said, yeah, and he also said he was a reporter for Globo in Brazil. Like,
yeah. I think he just wants to be like, I don't know. I think
he wants to be more important than he is. Is it little man syndrome? Because he's not a small guy. Like, I don't know. Like, is it just a feeling of inadequacy that like
maybe he's just having fun?
Like,
he's just like, let's see what I can get away with. Or
that's my theory. Like, he just wants to be Donald Trump. Like, or he wants to be. Excuse me. Wants to be somebody that just like has more clout than he does, and like in a world where misinformation is just rampant and where you can just like steamroll over people.
Exactly. Tom's, yeah, it's very frustrating.
The dog is as frustrated as anybody.
The dog is just as frustrated as we are.
Tonks the dog, who's also, believe it or not, America the dog on America the podcast. If you've ever seen her there, that's who she plays. Now, why do you think anybody would lie about this? Your thoughts? Nothing? Okay, well, let's stay quiet then. Like, not to mention the Brazilian late night TV host on a show called Fantástico. Is that how I'm saying it? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I remember that. Fantástico.
Fantástico. Well, he also outed George for using fake names and nationalities on his dating profiles. Like, he claimed he was Russian, then that he would go by George DeVolder, Anthony DeVolder, and Anthony Zabrovsky. I think that's one of one of his grandparents' names, I believe. We talked about this before on one of the episodes where, you can go by your middle name, you can switch your name around whenever you want, but when you're going by multiple versions of your name all the time,
not nationalities on a dating app.
Well, that one I think he's just thirsty and he's trying to get. Catfishing. He's trying. Well, it's for sure he's trying to catfish. But like that could just be trying to like hit all the buttons. Like remember on Parks and Rec, Tom Haverford had like a different profile on every single dating app, like profile Tom B, Tom Z. Like one of them was the bookworm one that Leslie was matched with.
Didn't he do A through Z?
Yeah,
and it was the middle initial.
Yes.
It was Tom A Haverford, Tom B Haverford.
N was for nerd.
And yeah, so he was like, which one did you pair with? And she said Tom N Haverford.
N's for nerd.
That's his nerd profile.
I don't even check that one. Like, yeah, so, I mean, but that's what Tom was doing. George, definitely a catfisher, or he was just trying to, get the hookup. But again, but even then, with all of the, the businesses and schemes that he's been running, using his different variations of that name, it screams, I am a liar. Like, there's no dancing around that.
Back in the day, if you met, George Santos, whenever he was on one of these dating apps and you found out, he's using this name or that name, he said he was Russian, but he's actually this, you probably wouldn't think much of it. You'd think, it's just some weird guy who's maybe trying to get creative with his dating profile.
Sure.
But then, of course, when you look at all of this together, and
it's
you
like,
realize,
don't take the one thing and look at it under the whole microscope.
All looks very questionable. But that's the problem with people who lie, is that it's like the boy who cried wolf, with this situation, anything of his that is true.
There's the wolf right there.
Exactly. And it's crying because it's fake.
It's fake.
And anything that he ever says that's actually true, no one's going to believe him.
No.
Because everything he has done and he's lied about the most bizarre things. Anything he says could be a lie.
Yeah, like when you tell, like he could tell me I had yogurt for breakfast, and I'm like, you're full of crap. You had cereal. Like,
baloney.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't believe anything he says. Oh man. So the last bit of this though, and this isn't a lie about George. This isn't a lie that he told. This is just a bizarre thing that. There's a reason it's in the Grab Back episode, because it doesn't really fit anywhere.
Tell me.
So George has a lawyer in Brazil. I don't, and I said it in the last episode of at the very end, is like, why did you choose this lawyer and how did you find him? Uh, oh my gosh. So jo- Jonimar Vasconcelos, can you pronounce that name
Oh,
correctly
Lord.
for me?
Okay, hold on. Let me look. That was rough.
That was, I know, that was a rough pronunciation. I'm not great at it.
Here we go.
47 years old. Can you got his name?
That's a hard first name.
That is a hard. That's a hard one. How do you say this name correctly?
I mean the second name you didn't get that wrong. Vasconcelos.
Vasconcelos. Okay, yeah.
Jean-Mar.
Okay.
Jean. That's a hard.
Mr. Vasconcelos, 47 years old, was sentenced to 18 years in prison in 2007 for his role in a fatal shooting of a mechanic 3 years earlier. Ooh. This is all from the Daily Beast, by the way. I'm more or less quoting a lot of it directly from that.
I'm reading ahead.
Yeah, this happened while he was in the Navy. The man who was reportedly paid for the hit.
No, he was.
Oh, sorry, he was paid for the hit. My apologies. He was reportedly paid for the hit. Went with 3 other men to a home of. Can you say that name for me? Artishu.
Aristel Vieira de Matos.
There you go. In the early hours of December 3rd, 2004, he remained on a motorcycle while the killing took place. He was basically going to be the getaway driver for a gang assassination in Brazil. So it's unclear how George found this guy and why he chose to defend him in the check fraud case. A fraud case.
Come full circle to that.
Where he defrauded someone for $700. That I think it's more or less resolved. But this man is George's lawyer.
The check fraud case is one of my favorite stories just because it reminds me of Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what this whole, George
is a bad
I just think about that movie a lot when we talk about this.
Because that's like a true con artist, and it's a fantastic movie and a fantastical thing that happened and a real thing that happened, where this is like just so like, oh, you did everything wrong here, including getting a lawyer who has spent almost 18 years in prison. He was under house arrest for a very long time when he began studying law in 2009.
So then when
he
did
learned
this
to be a
check
lawyer
fraud
in
thing?
prison?
So the check fraud thing happened before 2007, I assume.
No. The check fraud thing happened. I think it happened recently. I don't remember. We mentioned it in a certain
because otherwise,
episode.
2007, this guy's been in jail.
No, he started learning the law in 2009, and then George found him.
So maybe he got released from jail early or something.
So my favorite part of this. Now, even then, if you haven't been to Brazil in a few years, I mean, you yourself still speak pretty good Portuguese. When he was approached by Folha, a newspaper, Folha, they asked George Santos about it, and he replied that he doesn't speak Portuguese, despite speaking it fluently in many different interviews. So it's
That's so funny.
Someone coming up to you, sorry, I don't speak English.
No,
yes, you do. Like, I don't speak Portuguese. I can't help you. I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
It was a 2008. So the check fraud incident was 2008.
Oh, so he must have found him later. Oh, man, so that's been going on for a very long time. Or he was just recently caught. Man, it's hard to keep these things straight. But the lawyer, though...
a judge in Brazil accepted the charges against Santos in 2011.
Okay,
but subpoenas went unanswered, so the case was suspended in 2013. Mm-hmm. But then when he went to Congress and got all this attention, the case came back up.
That's right. That's what it was. Yes,
recently.
Okay. So this lawyer has been representing him in that, despite, being the getaway motorcycle driver for a gang execution in 2004.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Christmas execution. Kind of like, I'm sure there's a mobster movie about that. But yeah, I just didn't know where to put that. And it's just like... I was closing out this episode when I was doing the research, and I just came across that little bit. I'm like, holy God, why choose this guy? Like, did he not? He could not have known. Like, he couldn't have known, or he did. I don't know.
Well, look, it's like, kind of like.
Are you trying to be like a Don by making friends with mobsters?
Well, that's exactly it. Didn't we just talk about how didn't someone else around him just get
Yes, his one of his
Caught
top
for
aides
something.
pretended to be the top aide for Kevin McCarthy.
So,
He was trying to do fundraising
So,
on his
exactly.
behalf.
This is exactly that.
Yeah.
He's surrounding himself.
Mhm.
You've got a bad guy like
Yeah.
Donald Trump when everyone he surrounds himself with is a criminal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Guilty of something.
Yeah.
So,
like and not to mention like what we're going to talk about in that, and the case where he outed or said that he worked for Goldman Sachs, which last week I believe we learned was a lie. He was on trial for something. His friend, I think it was definitely his friend, was skimming cards. This I may be confusing two things because that's that's just how many there are. But George allegedly taught him how to skim cards, but was testifying on his behalf, like a character witness or something. Even though, like, I think George was technically involved in this crime, but this guy was on trial for it. I will look at those notes next week when we do this episode, or 2 weeks, because this show's every 2 weeks now. And so is every other America the Podcast Presents show. So thanks for listening.
check them all out.
Check them all out. It's on America the Podcast Presents on YouTube or the iTunes channel or Spotify. I don't think they have channels. Stitcher's gone. That sucks. I like Stitcher. Rest in peace. But yeah, that's it. We're done with this. We're done with the grab bag, and we will be back next week for all of the Ponzi schemes. Tonks, do you have any last words? Yeah, I know. Are you sad that the episode's over? No words, just the words in the middle. You know, it wouldn't be a podcast unless we were talking over each other anyways, right? So like, you know, you fit right in, Tonks.
We did do that just now.
Oh, like you mean right now, just doing that right now? All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see you in 2 weeks for all the Ponzi schemes. Subscribe. Bye.
You've been listening to I Do Not Trust This Person, Season 1, The Many Lies of New York Representative George Santos. The show is hosted and produced by Alanah Matos and Tim Philippi. The show is mixed and edited at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. For a full list of news sources and music used in this episode, please refer to the show notes. I Do Not Trust This Person was created by Tim Philippi and is a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast Presents. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.